Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of The Road to Diamond on Colonist.io 1v1. Today we get the second pick, and on this board, there's actually some pretty plentiful wheat. The wood is going to be scarce. I think this 843 might be one of the first spots to go. The ore, obviously this is going to be a pretty wanted spot. And the brick is all clumped, which makes it a little bit tough. Now, I actually really like having the second pick here. And because our opponent did that, what I am tempted to do is to play this 695 over and then the 843 up, or 843 right, because I think our opponent, they're going to have to go without wood or brick, and they might do this 692. But we should have a road to get to this spot anyways. And we'll get over to this wheat. Now they could go with this like 6311 too, which is also fairly strong. But I think we are just going to send that and start with the road. And actually, I mean, if our opponent leaves it, we're definitely going for this 693 first. Because otherwise, our setup feels pretty strong. And I don't think our opponent wants to... I mean, they might try and monopolize the wheat and get to this wheat port. Now I'm looking at it. Yeah. So our opponent goes up. They block us out from a lot of the wheat. But I think it's going to be a little bit of an interesting one for sure, because they're just not going to move very fast, which then makes our priority is probably going to be to get onto the 910 ports. Now, how we actually get there, I'm not the most sure of. Is there ever a back plow? I don't want to find out. We'll place those two. Nice. And now if we can just roll... I mean, sheep is probably going to be the ideal port down, just because sheep loses utility pretty quick. And our setup isn't doing bad. I think we actually port down now, just so we don't have a chance of going over. Come on, 9-5. Where are they going? Where is... I mean, we'll put it there. Come on. That's a really smart block by our opponent just right off the bat. Oh, man. And I don't think we can hold off anymore. Maybe we port down actually and grab a second wheat for a city. But we just don't have any wheat. But we'll move faster. So I'm gonna take a little bit of a risk here. We're gonna go for that play. I think it's wrong, but it was my first instinct. And shout out to Sean if you're watching this. Is he was telling me something he wanted to see me do more of was just go for my instinctual play. And I wonder if my opponent's gonna try and plow me to this 4-9-11, or if they're gonna go up for this wheat port already. That's a little intimidating. Am I going to get plowed? Oh. Nice. We're almost there. Another ore, and I probably... Oh, that's tough. Well, let's drop the ore. let's do this, and we are going to block probably their 9. And that does actually give us our settle. So we're in there. We're making moves. An early 10 would be great. Just one. And we do have... we can move here. Let's maybe port down our sheep for another wheat. Of course. Thanks, Catan. And I wonder, do we go for this? And that forces them up. It loses a road, but it does make sure they struggle to get on the ore. So I'm going to take a risk. We're going to go for that. We do have another wheat in hand, which is nice because that's our rarest resource by far. And they get a 7, which stinks a little bit. They're going to take it. We might get plowed to this 9-4. But I wouldn't resign there, but our opponent resigns. I think they see that they have to play up to this 8-4-3. Now, let's look at the game. Is in this position, our opponent has the 8, the 6, the 5, and they have this wheat port, which I think is their out. They have to play up probably this 11-4-3, and we can try and get there first. But our main priority would actually probably be this 4-9-11 to keep going. I don't know. It was a weird setup. I think we got a little worried about the wood, and now I don't know if this was actually the best play. But I think getting on the only ore, or the only good ore, I should say, was a pretty prudent choice here. But if we look at the stats... 7 rolled the most, which is good. The 8s were struggling a little bit, which is our opponent's wheat. The 9s did us a lot of work on here, and I believe somewhere down here. Yeah, the 9 was that brick that they had, actually. You know, the 4 rolled a bunch, and that was one of our bricks, which is good. But, you know, we pull out a win. We move up about halfway up to... Platinum 1, and we're gaining a little bit of ground back. So I appreciate everyone tuning in for the episode, and I will go ahead and see you on the next one.